Good evening. This is today's date, November 19th, on the safety committee. First order of business. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge
to
allegiance to
the
the flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Lee Shellis, Milbury Ellis.
Present.
Ron Kingston. Present. Anthony Taglione here. We only have one thing on the agenda,
How long is this now?
and that's it. We're looking at a district safety audit. And probably about a month ago, we had a security company come in and Rich Lucci was here, as well as Superintendent Kelly. And they basically walked through the building and they gave us some ideas and for us to put a RFQ together for a request for a quote. One of the things was looking at it as a security assessment, looking at safety and security plans as well as training plans. If I can, I'll have Diane speak on it more.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we did, and it was great, I do have to say that the folks who came in were from an organization called Guidepost, and one of the co-owners is a local Revere resident, so he was interested in helping us after he saw some of the media about our issues at the high school earlier in the school year. And they were very affable, very generous with their time. Didn't seem to me like they were trying to get anything out of it. They may or may not bid it, but they were able to give us some samples of requests for quotes that other school districts had used. And I gave those to Matt Cruz, who put together this draft RFQ that Anthony just shared with all of you. And one of the things that I was suggesting is, I feel like the Revere schools, especially under the guidance of Dr. Bellucci, has worked very well with the Revere Police Department, the Revere Fire Department, to build out our existing safety plans. And one thing that I think would be beneficial is instead of putting in the quote that we want somebody to create plans for us, because somebody might read that and interpret it that we have nothing existing. And instead, if we say that we want them to review our existing plans and identify any gaps in them and make suggested improvements, then maybe the school committee will get a better, like, I think of that first scenario, somebody might say, oh, I'm gonna tell them I need $40,000 to get a whole plan done. Whereas if we're saying we have plans, we want you to look at them, find the gaps and help us close them, maybe that's 10 grand.
Right.
So I'd rather put the quote out that way, and have some economy of scale there.
Yeah,
I think you've got a good idea there. Thank you.
Yeah, and other than, so there's a few different areas that would change as a result of that. The one other thing that I was looking at was there was a suggestion that there be a team, and they call it, this is in number 1 on the first page. Establish a multidisciplinary team consisting of school administrators, teachers, staff, clinicians, counselors, nurses, building and grounds manager, technology director, and any other appropriate. I thought maybe we want to think a little bit more specifically about Revere in our context and who we would want to be on that group. And whether we want to have one group to oversee the whole project for the district, or do we want to have a building level team at each one of the schools? So I just thought the committee might want to consider that a little bit, like they didn't put here SROs, but obviously we would want our SROs to sit on this team for each of the schools that they supervise.
yeah, I like the idea of having one team and
Yeah.
then disseminating that information.
Each school is a little
To the
different,
schools.
so maybe, I don't know, it's a good thought, only because each school's a little different.
Yeah, and one thing I was thinking we could do is have like that core group that is maybe the SROs and Carl. And I don't know if this subcommittee wants to be part of it or how you want the school committee involvement to be. So they could be the core group, and then when you go to each school, we include the building principals, the head custodian, the technology person who's in charge of technology in that building. And you know what I mean? Like, so there's the core team, but then each building has a unique group of people that might attach onto it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think they have,
One more thing too is I don't think our school system really ever had a security audit. And I just think it's very important. I mean, they talked about a lot of things, position of cameras, trying to
Yeah.
evaluate, threats, training and so on. So they had a lot of nice ideas, and I think we could really use that. And like I said, I found it very enjoyable, and they were very, very helpful.
Yeah,
Even the positions of cameras to make, to maximize, the range, and they can see the entire room. They were just, calling out everything,
mhm.
and they were impressive. But like I said, it's something we can go on, and then we can put it out for bid.
And the one other thing that I thought maybe we would want to talk about adding. We are gonna have safety consultants from our OPM and those teams on the new high school. But I thought we could include that in here to have these security professionals be a second pair of eyes.
Yeah.
On those security plans and tell us if everything looks good or if they already perceive anything missing
Mhm. As a part of
as a part of
this whole
this.
thing,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, that's forward thinking, very good.
Years ago, Dr. Dakin and I went to Middle High School to look at their school. And what they have, which I hope is part of the new high school, they have a process. Now, we have our setup. You have to put your license up to the picture. I get all that stuff, and that's fine. But if you go to Winthrop Middle High School, you're standing outside, you go up to a window, like almost like a banker type window, with, bulletproof glass or whatnot. You slide your license underneath. They prepare a picture ID for you, so you're not in the building yet. So
Yeah.
if you, and I don't wanna say threat, no one, I don't wanna make it bigger than it is, but they've already assessed you and say vetted you before you've gone in the building. Ours is more, show your license, state your business, and they do let you in, cause that's what they need to do. So there's been some process outside, but there's still, to me, that sense of, you're still in the building.
Mm.
Well,
Where-
that's what these
where it-
people
no,
look at.
right,
no,
that's
I'm
what
saying,
they'll
And,
determine.
But
and
my
the new
question
high
is-
school is designed that way.
Good, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
so
asking, yeah.
so when you enter the new high school, you'll come in through a set of doors. The office is on your right. You'll do exactly what John said, which is that present your identification, your reason for being there. And you have no access to the building yet.
Right.
And
that's
like
what I
you said,
over
that
there.
safety glass, it's bulletproof, all
Yep.
of that is in place. And in some cases, the person would come in other cases, they would still have to stay out there until the person they're meeting with comes and greets them and
Right.
brings them in, but it
Okay.
does
No,
have
as long as
that,
the new one has that, yeah.
yeah.
What,
To
the
go
new
along
school?
with John,
They won't even be able to get into the school. It'll be plexiglass
Yeah,
doors,
that's how Winthrop is, that's what I was, that was my
It-
question.
similar to Northeast Vocational.
oh, John, going along with, it's almost an isolation booth.
Mhm.
And
Well, you just haven't
I
entered the
was
building,
thinking
our
of
problem, is
bulletproof and everything,
you're already in the
and the
building.
door's not,
And if
the
you're
door's
really-
not released until,
Yeah,
but they had the facsimile of the individual and everything on the badge.
the other thing, I've been spending a lot of time in Lynn, it's really scary. They have a system with your phone where you put your phone in. And then they're kind of tracking you, like the other day, I forgot to sign out on my phone, and I literally got a text saying, have you left the building? It's been a while, so
What?
you sign in, you put your phone number in there, there must be some kind of database, because it does ask, it'll ask, is this John Kingston say? And then it spits out a temporary ID with your picture on it, because you have to take a picture. You stand in front of this thing, it literally takes your picture.
Well, that's one of the, I'm sure this is.
No, I just want to explain how it works, but Lynn has it, so it's, someone has it close by. And it takes your, it asks to take a picture, so it takes a picture of you, a current one, so it's not your, I mean, like my license is probably, I don't know how many years old it is, but it's not a great picture. So it takes a current picture of you, and then, you get a message on your phone, and what the message asks you to do is when you leave the building, to go back on your phone, it's like an app type of thing, it's a text message, excuse me, and then you clock out. But it's recording, it's, it knows you're in the building, because it's.
Well, I'm sure all of those options, any companies that
Well,
are
I
gonna
thought,
put in for
my
bid
thought
will
was,
be
yeah, no,
familiar
my thought was
with
if that
various
comes up, I think it's a
you know,
good system, and I don't know how expensive it is, but
things used for
it might be
schools.
something we
Yeah.
could use as with existing.
Well, that was-
schools.
But there might
Out
be
of the
something
grid.
else too out there, is what I'm saying, and these
Mhm.
professionals would probably be aware of all of the, the range of.
It's just it seems to
Software
work really
available.
well.
But we're talking about safety in other places also. If we could all start wearing our badges. Just to be fair to the people that work here,
I wear it, I'll be honest, I wear it if I go to a school during the day, but there's no children in the school at this point,
it's
so.
supposed to be worn all the time.
Okay,
All right, Anthony, if I may ask a question on, you mentioned television monitors and everything else. apparently whatever we have currently or up till now has been totally inadequate. There were
Well, that-
episodes where they
It's
called
been-
upon us, the episode out in the back a couple of years ago with the
Right.
police department. So
That was
that's
20 years
interesting to be able
So
to.
they're gonna look at everything to make sure that we can maximize the camera, or if we need new cameras, so that will be part of the audit.
This is
So,
good stuff. Thank you, Anthony. I'm so glad you brought this forward. This is good stuff.
Can I have
Thank
a
you.
motion to approve this?
So moved.
And accept?
Second,
With the adjustments that I suggested?
Subcommittee.
Yes,
So
with the
they, yeah.
adjustment, yeah. Okay.
Yep, I have all the notes, yeah.
All in
for
favor?
roll call,
Approve a recommendation.
who to go to the full board?
Yep, right.
Does this go to you or does it go to you?
What's that?
No, it goes to the committee as a whole.
No.
He'll put it out.
You'll put it,
Yeah.
I thought it was because of
All in favor?
the amount. I thought.
Since it's between 10 and 100, I'll inform City Hall, but I'll
Okay,
get to.
no, I was just wondering what the process was. That's all. Thank you.
No, can you vote on it?
Yep.
Mr. Morelos?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Motion approved. And make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?